All right, hey, it's Monday night. Let's do some Eberron artwork. We're working on the Crystals of Mabar, the 8th level, 7th level-ish adventure that Andy Healy and I created together that Stuart Braz is currently working on. So we're going to continue working on the book cover. Give me a hot second here to. We're going to continue working on. Yeah, that sounds like me. Okay, cool. So that's going to work out. I'm going to post to the multiverse via Twitter that I'm live. There's a link down below for you to follow me on Twitter so that you can catch signal when I'm doing stuff. I'm going to take another hot moment here to copy. Then enter, just boost signal to the discords where I haunt, DMsGuild and Indestructiboy and the OBS drive-through RPG Discord and Trinit Monk's team and Dungeoneers Pack and Fry Mini and Zipperon and Cleric Corner. Classes and constructs and Rich Mary and the D&D Discord flagship and the Eberron flagship, and there we go. So hey, we're done there. Okay, great, let's get into it. We are going to punt this back like that so that you guys can see my menu pop ups and downs, so you can see a little better about what I'm futzing around with inside of Photoshop when I'm futzing around inside of Photoshop. And so what we're going to do is we're going to fetch a picture, open image, a new tab. Let's open an image in a new tab. And then we're hunting for Aundair art right now, specifically Aundair character art. It sure as hell ain't leaping out at me, yo. I think this has a limited color palette, so I doubt it's going to be very useful overall, but I want to copy that image, and then I'm going to grab at it and bloop, drop it here into the PS, and then I'm going to take a sip of water. Cheers. Hey, we're going to be doing this for a couple hours. Like, subscribe, say hey, be welcome to chat at me. I have no idea what I'm going to ramble about today, but undoubtedly I will ramble, so feel free to be on board. Ramble on with me. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so there's some color signature going on here, but it's not significant. I bet I can get away with it. Well, it is. Okay, that's actually kind of cool, because we are currently working on, I'm going to push this up. We're working on these back row guys. So let's just take, okay, great. So like we talked about before, if you've been following along with us in the playlist, we're at 6.6% here. That's the size. That's about the size that it's going to, like on my screen, that's the size that it appears on the DMsGuild. So like usual, let's jump over to the oh, there it is. I didn't need to do that. DMsGuild. There we go. So there's the resolution of covers that are on the DMsGuild currently, and there's mine. So pretty comparable in size, so that's a good starting spot. Like that alongside like this and this and this, and then you got this. Like my shit's gonna grab attention, so I'm really happy about that. I've been blessed with having a lot of fun, either like super ultra graphic, high contrast, like glyphs or architecture type work, or like super detailed by like very punchy, high contrast, high detail character illustrations and stuff. So this is this is probably the most surrealistic project that I've done so far for anything on the DMsGuild, and it has been an absolute blast to work on. So right now, let's dive back into this. There's six paths that your characters can follow. You have 6 hooks, plot hooks, that lead you into different points of the adventure towards finding the source of all the trouble in the adventure. So these are representations of each of the different plot lines that characters could be introducing through, like whether they're hired by Ader Academy and your Inquisitors, trying to investigate weird happenings in the area, or if you're part of the Silver Flame and you've been an augur has divined that there's evil afoot in Karnathi, so infiltrate and investigate, and or like more of like a square up soldier that hired by the local sheriff, sheriff rangers to be deputized to look into small refugee camp concerns that have escalated to the point where the government can't ignore the problem, but they don't want to have to deal with it because they don't need manpower. So like, yeah, you guys, if you want to go check this thing out, you're deputized. Here you go. So people can. That's a path into adventuring. The gatekeepers are concerned about evil, so we made a wilder Gloomstalker. So she just kind of like melts into the shadows. So I wanna build out how this this tunnel is depicted so that there's more a darker tone here that can embrace her shadowiness. So that leaves us with this silhouette here and this silhouette here, and I was thinking this one felt more out there than the other one. The other one feels like crazy mage in a forest, but this feels more like somebody who knows what they're doing. So that's where I wanted to go with this one. So we are like we've been doing. We've got a silhouette that we worked out, and we got some light details going on inside there. Now we have an Alundar color palette from Keith's blog that we can borrow into when we get to the point where we're going to do the additional lighting effects. So I'm just gonna pick out the outline since it's a stark silhouette. I want to make sure that it's clean and that it's portraying, like, it has enough animation into itself so that it can hold up as a silhouette as it is. Like, you know, like at this scale you're not going to notice, it's hardly noticeable. But when you get to the actual product page, it's going to be about this big, and then when you click into it, it's this big. And when you get the actual product, you can zoom into a ridiculous degree. So I want to make sure all these elements are cleaned up so it flows smoothly. So that's what we're working on right now. So we're cleaning up this guy's edges. I'm hoping that in the next 25 minutes or so, I can have this guy resolved so I can move on to the other one that's over yonder and get him stitched up. And that way we're only working. Oh, that's right. I need to set a timer. Thanks, guys. So I'm going to set I'll set a 20-minute timer here. We're already working on this guy. So we're going to set a 20-minute timer so that we'll hit 8 o'clock here in Seattle, and then we'll have an hour and a half. So we'll push the clock to 30-minute brackets. So we'll have 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, and then an hour of just tunnel work, working on the tunnels. So that's our work process. That's our docket for the day, as it were. And so from here on forward, it's just shits and giggles, friends. So like, subscribe, check out all the other ones. I've got 105 subscribers right now, which is way more than I had on on Twitch. So I'm really happy to be here on YouTube in general. If you like what we're doing here and you want to hang out or futz around with artwork and look at game adventure design or just ask me anything, happy to participate in the conversation with y'all. Yeah, that arm looks a little short. I'm gonna cut it out. Line up. Transform, drop it back into place. Well, that feels pretty good. Maybe if I tilt it up just a bit. stitch that together. Yeah, good to go. Nice. Pleased with that. Check out that reference. Let's go over here. Purple feels royal. Yeah, okay, I'm cool with that. Let's go with once this cover is finished, we'll go back to the overland map for the Carnathy Heartland, and we may do a broader. I'm thinking about just doing a larger Carnathy map in general. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger on that or not, but I like the idea of it. I'm going to merge that down. Nice. I rather like that. Okay, cool. I'm on board with that. Uh-oh, froze up. I hope that doesn't happen a lot tonight. That guy just locked up. Let's check our signal here to see if we're still alive. Cool. I'll have to collapse that and then fire it up again. The right cover? I think I pulled the wrong cover. Oh, there it is. Good. Go Ruby. Oops, I'm playing without a net right now. Did not know that. That's awesome. Trying to rein that color swap back in so that it looks like it belongs the same curvature here behind the staff. Success. Now we can here, here, here. We'll pull those in. Ah, I'm enjoying this. Each breath, I pray for more inspiration. Let's grab, find something leathery. This codpiece sport. Save. There's some pride. Put that in. Again, and we'll let's run. Let's do that. Yes, there you go. I do notice that they have big floofy boots, so big floofy boots we get. High boots too. I'm off screen, sorry guys. Fix my face. There we go. Hey. Top, grab some boot. Yeah, okay, I'm good with that. What kind of floofity boots you got there, buddy? It's the same thing. That's awesome. All right, dudes. Yeah, like that. Just leather it up a bit. Foot is just not doing what I think it's supposed to be doing. This is more like a hoof than a foot. That's gotta be me doing something wrong. I'm gonna fix it. Hold on. Let me try to fix it. So far so good though. There's that down. Let's skew a bit. I bet that's gonna fix it. It did a pretty good job. Oh, now I understand it. Okay, there and back again. There. That feels better. Man, that rim lighting just doesn't work. Happy with that. Boy, I just got unreasonably hungry. Yeah, it looks pretty sharp. It like just completely disappears at this range, but it's in there. We know it's in there. The details that win you over. Let's finish this guy off. Fool! We still got 4 minutes left. I only got some flat plates to resolve. Well, I got some face to do. All right, we'll do some face. First, let's get this. Wow, hey there. Just a bit of rim lighting, nothing too big, just to add some texture. Wrong button, Kearney. Thank you. Small rim effects here just to make things stand out a bit. Erase a bit to pull these things back down. That way these little rims stand out a bit more. There we go. Just about done. All right, let's do some quick hair, see what we can see. Might be fun. Drop that down a bit. Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. All right, cool. Let's keep on keeping on. Change the strength on that smudge brush a little bit to make it pull the hair a little bit more to get more of a sheen. I know at this scale it doesn't really matter that much because I'm literally pushing individual pixels. But it's the same technique I'd use at a larger scale, so it remains consistent. All right, we're going to roll that over. Actually, I want to get back up in here. We're going to cancel that. We're going to push this to 30 minutes. There we go. Let's keep on keeping on. Pretty good for the hair, and then let's put some face underneath that. Cool. Drop down here and get rid of that tag. Not bad. Smudge that down a little bit, just to so it doesn't stand out so much. Yeah, okay, that's gotta go. You're right. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that guy. Cool. So we're not too far off mark right now. Stitch that up. And then blop. Stop the cot. All right. I'm already predicting this is going to take more than the 25 minutes I have allocated for it. I don't even know what this guy is supposed to be. What are you doing there, dude? I guess we can Imaginarian this stuff, huh? Well, first off, let's grab this and drag it over here to see. He's bigger, so let's make that a little smaller. Just push him back a bit more. I'm pretty happy with that. On there, you've served your purpose. Thank you for serving. My spider senses are tingling. Twitter is what's happening. Forgive this lark as I drift over. Okay. Let's see. Let's go with, let's check out Thrain. No, we already know Thrain because that's Silver Flame. Let's go with Brayland. Brayland. See if we see anything interesting going on with the Brays of Land. I love that picture. That's so cool. I'm going to build one of those. Have it be in our command system. That'd be too fun. Oh, God, those things are so pimp. What are you guys on about? Brayland organization. That's hardcore. Let's see what else we got going on down here. Maybe. Maybe. What else we got? Okay, we can borrow on you. Copy image. I don't know how, because it's supposed to be a Roby guy in the back there, but, you know, sit with elders of a general race, all will be revealed. Open image in new tab. Well, I'm hip with that. That's cool. All right, well, there's our color references. Cool, let's get into it. I feel creative. I'm good with that. So let's mess out a bit. Arch down. Probably have to reduce the size of that guy a bit. Cool. All right, keep on keeping on. There we go. Okay, cool. I think I'm pretty happy with how bulky this dude is. Good. Yeah, it feels pretty good. All right, cool. Let's keep on. Keep it on. Cool. All right, cool. Side forth. Nope. Nope. There we go. Thanks. Buttons. Sometimes they get confusing. Hey man, how you doing? We're just doing some Eberron artwork. Here's our. Let me get rid of the reference stuff. bloop bloop. But yeah, here we are so far. Here's the size. This is the viewing size on the DMsGuild, and then when you get to the product page, that's the viewing size. When you click into the preview, it's about that big, and when you make a purchase, you can zoom in as much as you want and check out some details. So Shifter Gloomstalker, Dare Wizard, Brayland Soldier. We're working on a Warforged right now in the background, Silver Flame from Thrain, and an Aether Academy Inquisitor. They're all creeping around inside this dungeon setting to find these odd environment that is a ritual that is using the Eye of Mabar to pull the moon through the manifest zone so that it becomes permanent. And so that's what we're depicting on the cover here. So that's so right now we are just finishing up the Warforged down here. Then we'll work on like cast shadow and lighting there. We'll work on the granularity of all this mess here to clean that up and make it feel a little bit better. And then we'll go through and we'll work on some of the details inside here. Then we'll stitch up these trees a little bit, clean up those outlines a touch, smudge that out a little bit more smoothly. Add some texture in with this as we work on the gravel over here. And then that'll be done. So maybe like another 30 minutes. What we got 8 minutes left until our next 30-minute cycle begins. So I'm just going to work on this Warforged a little bit here until our time pops. Yeah, and just keep on keeping on. So welcome to the mix, man. Say hey, what up? Wait, where am I at? I'm everywhere at once, and I will cut you up. There we go. Dragon King, what you had going on, dude? Oh, there I am. I'm working. I'm working without a net again. I've been doing that a lot. Just working on the. Normally, what I do is I do layers like this. I'll add an extra layer, so I can I can do stupid stuff and it doesn't actually impact the picture. It just goes away. But I've been quote unquote playing without a net a lot lately for some crazy reason. Maybe it means I have a new level of confidence and power. Or I'm just dumb. What do you got going on? Adventure sounds interesting. Scoot that around a little bit so I can read you a little better. Yeah, man, Eberron's cool. I dig the hell out of this setting. It's my go-to setting in my own campaign, like all the time. Our current campaign is well, this campaign too is also in Eberron, the time travel adventure that I've been running for the past 4 years. They're up to the 17th level now. Well, as soon as they kill off this beholder they're fighting, they'll be 17th level. But when that Eberron campaign comes to the close, the team wants to do a Spelljammer campaign, and they are interested in a sort of 4X resource gathering guild experience. So that's going to be super fun, putting that together for them. Doing crystal mining in the Tears of Sybaris, orbiting around Eberron. As Warforged and dwarves and Moorhold, like basically space dwarves, fetching, like 1 mile size crystal chunks and then pulling it into their mining facility for them to break into resources for them to, build shit. So you got to go into these asteroids, and you got to kill off all the aberrations and monstrosities that are in there before you can claim the mining rights. So it's a safe spot to send your NPC non-combatants into, and then you go on to the next crystal. Or if they open up a new area and they hit a new geode, there could be creatures inside that crystal pocket that you need to come back then and clear out that nest so that it's opened up for the more mining. And as you gain more mining resources, you can get more mining ships, more infantry to go clean out nests. So I've been drafting martial class that draws from different power sources in D&D. So close to being done, and then I'm checking out your martial powers project. Hey, right on, Dragon. Yeah, it's smart to stay away from a project while you're working on something. So hey, Andy, it's good to see you, dude. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys got going on. And I was working with elemental resources today. I don't know if you caught sight of that, Dragon, on stream earlier today about breaking down the different types of energy damage into like the 4 elements, for instance. So that might be relevant to what you got going on. Much love, dude. Yeah, it's good to catch you, dude. It's Andy, man, it's been a thrill building this thing with you. I gotta say, this is it's a pretty kick-ass adventure. I'm really digging it. Like, I don't have to worry about getting too detailed on these back lines because they got a lot of silhouette going on. I really just want to have like a flush of color in there just to give it some form. Not a lot of detail, but form. So we got that. These all feel pretty good. I need to come in and work on these crystals next. So I've got 3 minutes left on the docket. I'm going to push over time on this guy, but not by much. Not by a lot less than I thought I was going to anyway. Probably another 20, God, maybe even 10 minutes. I'll have this dude resolved, and then we'll move back into the environment. So, just kicking along, dude. Yeah, no kidding, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a badass product when we get it out, man. It's I am super looking forward to when Stuart finishes the edits and to get it back and like to have the final form of what the text is, so I can just drop it into page layouts here and start monkeying around with how we want this thing to look. Because I think I've got a couple ideas about how I might want it to look, but I honestly don't know like how much space each block idea is going to take on the page. I really admire 1 page per like area or region or encounter type stuff, like Lazy DM's sort of simplicity, but there's a lot of moving parts with this thing, so I'm not sure what the right way to. I'm going to get rid of these little nuggets. I'm honestly not sure what the right way is going to be to present it. So I think more than anything, I'm just excited to see how the text is just going to sit on the page. So I'm really interested in doing that landscape format, so it's sidelong, which just fits on the screen super well. I don't know. I'm not 100% on it. I just want to see how the text lays out first. And if there's an obvious structure that's going to lean one direction over the other, I'm going to go with whatever direction that is. You know what? I mean, the thing is going to tell. It's going to have its own breath, and it's going to tell me what it, how it wants to sit and what it wants to do. I don't want to be too. I don't want to preconceive too much before the work is completed, because like the front end, like the front end explanation stuff could have a different cadence than like each act of the adventure. So I want to see which one. I mean, the actual adventure content, the acts themselves, the challenges, the mapping inside of it. That's the real priority, obviously, because you want to have the most readability and utility use as you can out of that to make the DM appreciate the adventure instead of arguing with it. So that's going to be the top priority. Like how much space, like all the different areas and all the little different dungeons, what's the largest amount of space one of them requires on a page? And that's going to pretty much set the precedence of how much content can, like how we can realistically arrange it. Like, is it going to end up laying out portrait versus landscape, font size? Like, I would never go below 10, but if I can be around 12, that's awesome. But I don't know if we'll be able to achieve that with this. So breaking up the map is going to be a priority. So once I actually get the map built out, I'm gonna have to break it up into like this little individual chunk pieces, so they can be little like virtual tabletop drop-ins, individual pictures that you know, you'd serve up like, hey, here's room 9, blop. You just serve that room up. It has doorways leading off from it, and that which you can then refer back to the main map, going from room to room. So it'll work out. It'll work out. It's a bit more involved than just supplements. You know, supplements are pretty much just however you can logically progress through the content of the mechanics that you're trying to express in a logical order from once to nth. But the maps are crucial to being able to properly narrate the adventure. So you have to have both of those visual elements integrating on the page together. So I think having like a broad general long view map, and then having zoom ins of each room, I think that's going to be legit. That's pretty much determining what the leg joint here is like. So now I have to mirror it over here. I like this new style that I've been working with here. Like I've done all these pieces with this same style. Like you can see it, like you can see there's it's pretty minimal here because of the lighting that's involved. But and then you can see similarly here with this on there wizard that I made today. But then as you're moving further forward in the picture, like the shifter ring, a Gloomstalker, because the Gloomstalker's got low lighting on her, but it's got more visibility. And then the forefront guy, these are all using the same technique that I'm using. Like you see the past few episodes, this has more color content onto it, so that the colors stand out more from the form itself. But you can see here the progression. Like if this guy didn't have backlighting like that, I'd be able to flesh him out like this. This was where this was, this is where that was, and this doesn't need to go any further than where it is. So we're manipulating the light in the picture to ease the amount of work that I have to do in these characters. You just build a strong form, and then you can just fill in with color or lighting or however you want to fill it in. It actually it's actually pretty quick. It's actually a really quick process to be able to build out characters this way, and I'm really happy with how it looks. So I suspect I'm going to be seeing how can I lean into this format a little bit more throughout the book. And considering the amount of fog and low lighting there is, I think this style is actually going to really play into the narrative of the adventure really well. So I'm really excited because I'm only just really starting to get into this style of illustrating, and God, I've got, well, it's going to be like a 90-page book with like monsters and environments and landscapes and structures. Like it's going to be a really wide gamut of different types of things being depicted. So by the end of it, I should be really strong in this style. And that, above almost anything else, that is incredibly exciting for me. Like it's, you're gonna hate hearing it, Andy, but I mean, it's gonna take however long it's gonna take, right? Like when I did that Krampus picture, it's like it takes however many hours it takes, but this style is a lot faster, so it lets me do more with those hours of time. And I honestly have no idea how many illustrations this thing is going to need before it's done. But it's you know, I'm not trying to speed through the thing. I'm just trying to build a kick-ass adventure that people want to just, if anything, like when I was 12, I had all those, I had all the first edition AD&D, like the tournament, the tournament modules, where they had like point systems in there and how they broke up each dungeon into zones, and you got so many points for moving through this many zones, and I would just read that like just like a novel almost, like over and over again. It's like, what kind of stuff is going on inside this environment that's a tournament? Like there wasn't anyone teaching me. I was just this stupid kid in Missouri who didn't, you know. I eventually found bookstores where I could buy them. My folks grabbed them at a garage sale, and like, here, we think you're going to like this. Happy birthday! And I'm like, and I fell in love with it. But I had to self-teach myself all this stuff, and it was zany. It's a fun game. I love it. But I just love just staring at the monster illustrations and the different like occasionally the illustrations would be depicting the map room, so it started making me think about drafting. So I got into drafting classes and some of my high school stuff, and it was fun. It really guided my my creative progression over the years, gaming that is. So it's I want to build those kind of modules, man, that just like look freaking cool, have neat maps, have stuff going on that your characters want to spend time on and looking at, and it's fun. It's just fun. I just want to build fun, cool stuff. So anyway, sorry, I got on kind of a nostalgia ramble there. What are we talking about? Hey, good. Glad to hear it, man. Thank you. I don't look at my my chat log as much as I could, so no offense. But goddamn, what a cool thing, man! What a cool thing. The there's a in the link down below, the DMsGuild bundle. If you go into that and you look at the core mechanics book, and if you go to the description in the core mechanics book, it has a link to Babies with Knives YouTube channel, where I did a live DM demo of the 5-color mana system in Eberron, and I used this same random adventure thing to create it was the first adventure I created using this Eberron system that we have going here, and so I created that random dungeon for that play test, and that's the next adventure I want to do, the Temple of the Frozen Heart. It's a 6th level Eberron adventure. It's rival monk temple is raiding in an enemy school, an enemy temple. They're trying to loot and steal artifacts from an enemy temple at the top of this frozen at the top of this frozen volcano, way north, like in the ice line past the northern edge of Karnathi. It's like way the hell, like it's like you go crab fishing up there. That's why you're up there. So it's like this little crab town, and there's this monk temple that's all about doing like frozen techniques, like they have hold person as a technique that creates, it's like earthen grass, but it's ice that they freeze your feet to the ground with and stuff like that. It's just a monk school that I made up, but this is where their temple is at, and they get attacked, and so you know people in that temple, they're your friends, and so when you find out that they're being raided from the local constables, you need to take action to go save the temple from their raiders. So that was the first adventure that we created, and it has the same 3-act format that we got in this adventure. So I'm really excited to build that one. I just don't think I'm going to get to it until probably late 2023, but God, I love Eberron so much. It's so fun building adventures for it. So fun. Anyway, ramble on, sing my song. Yeah, this guy's almost done, you know? Like, I don't really need this much more detail, saying where his position is in the lighting. Like, that's not bad. I think I'll just do. I think I'll do just a little bit more, and then we'll call it done. Like down along the back here, where it's getting a lot of lighting. We'll do a little bit more down here. Did you have been involved with Theros? Hey, right on, Andy. I will see you on the other side, my brother. No, I had no official association with Theros. The Pax and Patrons of Ravnica, which is the 10 different warlock patrons based on the 10 guilds of Ravnica. Morgan Robbins was one of the people that worked with me on that project. She's one of the main designers of the Advanced 5e product that came out for Natural 20. She worked on Theros while she was at Wizards of the Coast. That was during that time. She was also a part of the what's the word? She was a part of making triomes in the Ikoria Magic the Gathering setting. So that was it was really cool getting her on board before she started getting swept up by other projects. Great person, really fun. And Hidden Dave was our editor. I've worked with Hidden Dave before with all the color mana books that I have, and both God, I can't remember Will's last name, and Darren Kinney, and I can't remember Will's name. It's in my book anyway. Both of them worked on the Odyssey Anthology adventure series that's on the DMsGuild. Oh, maybe that's what you're talking about, the Odyssey Anthology. I did all the environment art for that. 20 different island adventures from 1st through 4th tier, and it's 20 different islands, so I did 20 different island illustrations to go along with the adventure, and then we made like an archipelago of various islands. We built them into like a sequence of adventure. Maybe that's what you're thinking of, but nothing official Wizards of the Coast. I keep trying to get them to hire me. I'm here in town, but they don't want to talk to me. So I mock them viciously. Okay, great. I think this guy is. This guy's pretty good. I think I am content with where this is at right now, and I think I just want to keep moving on. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Cool. Let's stitch that guy up. Let's stitch those heroes up. Now we can get into the cast shadow here. We got what's going on. We want to mark the lighting that we have with this guy, so it's going to drop some of this in here. Let's smudge all that action out. Hi, Dragon. I'm excited to hear about or see what Marshall stuff you've been doing. It's a fun space to work inside of. I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna take my eraser. I'm gonna put on only 10% power, so it only erases just a touch. There we go. I can pull this down and smudge that out. Just erase a little bit. Erase that a little bit. There we go. Erase that a little bit. down, erase it a little bit. Smudge it down and erase it a little bit. Make that stuff work for you. Now I need a shadow down here. You're absolutely right. Let's go back over here. Get into it with this guy. Smudge it down. Erase it a little bit, smudge it down. Smudge it down and erase it a little bit. There we go. Do the same over here. Erase it a little bit. There we go. Cool. So cast shadows are done. Heroes are done. Go ahead and relabel that. Heroes. I'm going to save. I'm going to take a drink of water. We are going to pan out and soak it in. We are at. There we go. That's DMsGuild front page size. Let's see, how do we have our things stacked up? We can take this and this, we can drop those bloop, into there. Got the page dressing. We got the front scrub, which doesn't need to change. The foreground, which also is part of the front scrub, so that doesn't need to change. Side trees blend the front scrub into the background. The sky fog is out of the way. Hero fog, paths. That's where we're at. Paths, and then tunnel. Sky fog, side tree. Perfect. Okay, cool. So this is where the paths are at. So this is where we're going to start building. So we're going to start mucking stuff up. Swap out that song. Ugh, too drowsy. Let's hit this guy. Where this guy is. Whatever. All right. I think that's where we started. I'm going to collapse that. Collapse that. There we go. All right, back into it. Wait, where's my face? Here I am. There we go. Upstairs neighbors are breaking stuff again. Breaker. All right, so we want to keep this. What happens? I'm just going to futz around a little bit. I'm futzing with lighting right now to see what I need to get away with. I think I can get away with like something like this. Window, brush settings, we're going to go with transfer. Now we're going to kill that window. I'm going to go back to work. Yeah, fix these teeth too. That'll come around. think I liked it. I think I liked it without the scattering on. We're learning stuff. Let's go to brushes. Let's turn off that transfer. Let's turn off. Thank you. All right, I'm going to switch my clock back to 20-minute timers. Just cancel. There we go. Sorry. Started as a weird combo of monk and warlock. Oh yeah, I think you're hinting at it. I was playing with that stuff a couple years ago too. I just have the narrative of a being who learns straight from the source of magic rather than by proxy. Yeah, there are some really fun overlays between monk and warlock for sure. My stance for a long time has been that the monk is a warlock that unfortunately has had all its invocations already chosen for it and not necessarily well. So like tongues is cool and stuff, but if I want to hit shit, maybe I don't want to have tongues. Maybe I want to be able to have some other 6th level spell or something. Like there's some really fun, like astral projection being their chosen 9th level spell. It's on curve. It's like why are you not giving the monk an opportunity to do kick-ass shit? I mean, I guess astral projection's cool and all, but it's just, can't you just learn that as a ritual or something? Anyway, I applaud the effort, sir. I'm looking forward to seeing how you envision it. So that's something that I keep pushing to my back burner. Never had an opportunity to really. Like when I initially I ended up going with the half casting route for monks, but when I was originally building the 5-color mana system, I was looking at the monk having the same like if you look at my spell point, like if you look at my link down below at the DMsGuild, the warlock and the monk have the same short rest mana progression 1 through 20 using the spell point system that I have. Then it's just a matter of the warlock gets invocations on top of it, as well as the mystic arcane. And of course, I convert that into arcanum points. So you have both pack mana and arcanum points. So you stack up 50 of them over the course of 20 levels, and then you can choose what spells you have. And with the anyway, it's yeah. I think I'm going to really appreciate what it is that you built just off of that alone. I love the idea of high powering monks like that. It's just so cool. I'll be interested to see what your solution was to the if that's a route that you went. See how because I find short rest gets jammed up mid levels with having not enough mana to be able to sustain themselves with the amount of utility and the combat that's that's assumed to be built into half casters, which was which was really interesting when I decided to pursue monk as half casters. So because there's so many ways you can break with monks, either like going deeper into martial without resources or half casting for that like the hybrid feel versus warlock with like invocation options. It's just so many things. Like monks are so versatile. I just design wise, I just freaking love them. I hope Wizards of the Coast gets rid of Stunning Strike. Not that I have a problem with Stunning Strike. If that's how you want to burn your mana, go ahead. But it throws your power budget so far off, and you could really open up a lot of cool design space with invocations with monks. Like, wouldn't it be awesome if they just made monks with invocations in 6e? God, that would be so badass. That would be so badass. I would love that. Like, melt monk into the warlock. I don't think they're going to do that, but they could do that. They can totally do that. We'll see. Definitely ping me when it's ready to share, dude. I am looking forward to it. All right, I'm done futzing with that. Pan out. Feels better. Next, let's grab crystals like this. Let's see what we're gonna do to build crystals. Wow, wow, wow. Let's do that. I always want this thing to work out, and it never does. So maybe today is the day. Maybe today is the day. Hardly. Ugh, it's gonna be such an abomination. All right, well, the job doesn't get done by bitching about it. That helps. That helps a lot. Always felt like the monk's problem for me was just all the flavor bloat. Don't get me wrong, I love tongues, but that should have been a 4th level max. Also, looking at that class table just no. Oh, I see. Yeah. It's trying to do too much. Very fair, man. Very, very fair. Yeah, it has so much going on, it doesn't really have an identity. And there's not enough identity created through the subclasses to carry the absence inside of the class scaffold itself. So, is that what you're saying? Because I feel that. I totally feel that. Hey, that's panning out pretty cool. Yeah, let's do that again over here. Let's cheat. Let's be filthy cheaters and flip, free transform. Need to get those guys standing out. Thank you. Thank you. I need to, it still needs some work here. That feels right. I just need to get these guys to stand out a bit more. That definitely feels right. Oh, I'm happy about that. Holy shit, this is working. Now I just need to do some. Lighting effects to make sure that the characters can stand out appropriately. So I'm gonna switch to I'm just gonna ham fist this real quick. Actually, I can do that. I want to make sure these guys pop out. So I'm literally highlighting them right now. So the cheap hack. See if it pans out. Cut paste heroes. What are you going on about? Hold on. Yeah, there's something hanky going on there. Give me a hot take here. Oh. Do tell. Do tell, D'Artagnan. Get out of here, you scallywag. Thank you. Well, that's kind of fun. Let's see if we can cheat with that a little bit. Have to work on the cash out a little bit. Whoa. That doesn't feel like that should be there. Let's yeah. How's that do? That does very well. Okay. So cheers to that. Layers are getting complicated, but that's okay. We're monkeying around with the general lighting coming in from these passageways so that I can fake an outline around each of these characters, so that their form can pop out from the scraggly background tunnels. So we're working with light. Thank you. There we go. So I can erase that a little bit to bleed off some of that light, make it smooth into the rest of the environment a little easier, and get this kind of this James Bond mild spiral effect going that we got going on here. This cascading that's pouring the characters into the middle of the page. And that flow isn't accidental. It's helping push everything around, stirring through here to cycle it all back into each other. So, which is kind of how we built the adventure. It's like the playtesters that we ran, like I think 15 different playtesters, and mix in different, like they mix and match their groups as they were doing this, and the general consensus from everyone was, I want to do this again from a different perspective, even though they knew what the outcome it was. It was still fun for them to kick around in it, just to kick around inside of it, which is again that tournament feeling that I was talking about earlier. Tournament adventures were cool because you got points for how far you can get through the adventure, and the amount of points that you get magic items for your characters, or there might actually be like a cash prize at the shop, to see who got the furthest in the adventure. But having ran the adventure before, it's worth coming back and competing again because you've had a brush with it before. It's like I think we can get further next time if we think about X, Y, and Z. Like that's like a game that like gamifies the RPG. That puts the G back in the RP, right? Which has been a big complaint of mine, is that it's gone so far in the direction of player agency and character longevity that the gaminess of it is kind of disintegrating into a more LARPy sort of feeling. Like I'm more interested in my character's persona than I am about random, just like adventuring, random or not. So anyway, that's art musings. This is stuff that falls out of my face when I push the pixels long enough. I am really, really pleased with this piece though, man. I gotta say, this is... that feels right. And that guy's standing out great now. So that totally frickin' worked. So now let's see if we can do the same thing down here. We're actually gonna cut this out and make it a separate layer. So my guy yells at me that I'm Missourian, so like L-A-I-R sounds like L-A-Y-E-R. Drop the strength on 30%. So I can smudge it in a little easier, and it's got this down slope, so I think that might work in our favor. Oh, what happens if nothing happens if I erase that because it's only at 10%. I was like, yeah, I need to have that. I like him cutting around inside of that smoke. That's kind of cool. I'm going to keep that. Like, I didn't intend on this guy having a magic sword or anything, but it's working out. The lighting wants it, so I'm outlining it in this effect. So I didn't really think anything about the effect until, here we are. So now I'm thinking about the effect. I'm gonna erase this. I can erase this down a little bit because I don't need to have. He can melt into the ground fog, more so I don't need to have as much lighting going on there, but God, it's almost like this Echo Knight feeling going on with this guy. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I love the flavor of Echo Knight so much. I hate the mechanics. It's so clumsy. All right, let's do it. Let's do this again. There we go. Yeah, hopefully people enjoy this. I don't want to be too lens flary. I want to have it present, but I don't want it to be overwhelming. Ugh, what a pickle. So I guess I just gotta fade in a little bit more and see. We'll see. It'll work out. Huh. Yeah, maybe I want to hit this with a 2% eraser. Bring that down a bit. Bring that in a bit. Tame all that shit. Thank you. I gotta really make this about him, not the environment. Like this one I can bleed into the environment pretty easily, but him, I think I need to just have this pop out on its own as him. It's okay, I don't think this looks bad. Of course that didn't work. Derp. Yeah, derp. I don't know. I just want to give this guy an iron stone. I just feel like he earned one. Nope. What's your process for adventure design? I'm thinking about writing my own as a supplement to an undead companion I made, but I'm not sure how to go about it. Well, I have a random generator that I'm going to be bringing to market that was used to inspire the creation of this, as well as another adventure that I had done already. Basically, it creates it's a die roll for the villain, what their plot is, and the location of the adventure, the plot hook that gets the party becomes then aware that there's an adventure happening at all, and then the twist. So I take those 5 elements and we blend them into a 3-act adventure, and then each of the 5 different elements of what that adventure is has to self-reference itself through the villain has to be able to self-reference to the location, to the twist, as well as to like the hook, and then the hook has to be able to reference to the plot, the villain, the location, and the twist, for instance. So when you have I don't know how that useful that is for you, but all of my homebrew campaigns, I don't run pre-made adventures at my table. It's always homebrew, and so I have a lot of latitude and a lot of customization that goes into what it's going to be about. But those are the core elements, pardon the pun, of what's going on inside of an adventure. You need to know, who's driving the narrative as to why things are happening in the first place, and why are they doing it. Where are they at, or where are they trying to get to do more of whatever it is that they're doing? What difficulty is going to be introduced during the course of the adventure that is beyond like the player's control or the antagonist's control, that makes him change what his next step is going to be. But generally, when I'm interacting with a story, it's really like it's the antagonists, the villains, the NPCs in the story, whether they're villains or allies or whatever. Any NPC in the game has their own goals, and they have scruples and limits about how far they're willing to go to get it. So when you understand like how feasible is their actual goal, are they trying to bring their father back from the dead? Are they trying to reforge a forgotten empire? You know, these are both viable paths into an adventure, depending on, you know, what your character's got going on and what your approach to it is. But there has to be somebody that's trying to do something that the characters should have an opinion about, whether they have one baked in because of the campaign, or they're hired to have an opinion about, well, they're hired to resolve a situation as though their opinion agrees with their patron. So once you know what the NPC's goals are in the environment, like the antagonist, what's the antagonist actually trying to achieve? Once you know what the antagonist is trying to achieve, then you can start looking at, well, what roadblocks and log jams is that NPC going to encounter in the process of trying to achieve their goal. And all those points where you're identifying something can go wrong, those are insert points for the characters to go in and give the antagonist a black eye. So now the team's on the radar of the bad guy. It's like, oh, you guys are the cause of my trouble. I want you out of the way. Which always leads to players wondering, well, what the hell's going on with this guy? And when they find out, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm glad we're really messing around with this guy. He needs to be stopped. And then they become a direct threat to the antagonist, and it just continues spooling out from there. So if you're going to do a written adventure, you got to have an understanding of what your scope is, and scope is best limited by the location. So a lot of prefabricated adventures are going to, more than anything else, be determined by their location, because you can contain it. Higher tier adventures, depending on how far up the ladder you're going to go, it's no longer about a location. Locations are cool, and you can have key events happen at locations, but locations will not bind where a character is at. So then the adventure becomes focused on the villain and what their objectives are, and who they have available to them as resources, like as allies or whatever, minions, etc. That are able to assist them in achieving their goal. Because ultimately, at higher level play, it's more about knocking out the people that can get the things done, more so than like, you know, we need to invade this space and monkey around in this environment. And there's things here that are happening in that environment. But then you can have it goes further and further down the rabbit hole. But that's basically the core of it. So you gotta know who's involved, why are they doing it, and where do they need to be to do it. Where they need to be to do it is ultimately where your adventure is going to take you. And whatever it is that the antagonist in the adventure is attempting to do, it's something that your character should want to disrupt. So integrating breaking points where things go wrong, and how the antagonist will respond to those things happening is a really solid way for you to be able to build out an adventure. Like all throughout this adventure, there's interacting like with the different guards. Like they have very different opinion about what's going on than the bosses do. So you can interact with just the grunts, like the guards and stuff that are, nobody's CRs. Like, we recognize you're going to kill us. So let's have a conversation about that stuff. It's like, as you go further into the adventure, you can learn what their motivations were for being here in the first place and how it's changed on them over time. Like, if you care to, or you can just stab them and get them out of your way. So, but they have motivations for why they act. Like, how fast are these guys going to surrender? That's going to really depend on how much time you've spent successfully interacting with them. The more successful interactions they have, the more they actually want to look to you as an authority in the environment. It's like, yeah, we really want to hand over control of this to somebody who's not going to get us killed. So we're really glad you came along. This is great. How can we help you? You know, that's a path that we've had happen on the adventure, and you know, it's something that's out there. But you have to understand what their motives are to be able to open up those opportunities and introduce those as options for how characters can resolve threats in a campaign using, say, the social pillar, as opposed to exploration. How can I sneak around these guys? So you want to build paths that characters can find if they want to, you know, like quote unquote exploration. Adventuring is more like Scooby-Doo, like finding clues, avoiding discovery, finding their way past traps to get into new locations that has either additional treasure or new clues available to them. So you want to use all three of those pillars working together so that you can be challenging them on more than one front at a time. And depending on what what your team's like, you want to get an adventure that's going to line up with your team's preferences. We built this adventure so you can do it. The entire thing was through social conversation only, without having to draw a weapon at all the entire campaign. But it's also you can sneak through and fiddle with stuff and break things to get victory. So you can explore. You can use nothing but exploration pillar through here. And of course you can kill everything, so you can use combat. But we had very specific objectives that we were trying to build with this, which is demonstrating that you can build entire adventures that are keyed around different pillars, and then you can just choose when you know what your team's preferred mix is, either because you're surveying with a good session 0 or you've played with them for a long time. If you know that they're only going to want to tolerate maybe 1 or 2 fights per session, then you know you can lean all of your encounters towards exploration and social, and just have some good, hard-hitting, short encounters that lets them know that they're on the right, you know, they want to have interactions, they want to sneak around because they don't like fighting, they're nasty. So that's like, you can help reinforce their play style by when you pepper in the things that they don't like to make them, yeah, let's keep hiding because these things are horrible. Let's keep figuring out how to get allies on board because this place is terrible. We need friends, that sort of thing. So, but you know, like I said, we were specifically like this adventure is a reference document for that adventure design stuff that Stuart and I are building. Like, go look at this. Go look at Crystal's Mabar, page 56, and you'll see how the guards are offering you an opportunity to interact with them socially without having to necessarily fight them, like as an example. So. I think that's pretty far off the beaten path of what you were asking about, but probably more than anything, you were just asking for some brainstorming ideas, and that probably just gave you a crap ton of them. So hopefully that was what you needed. That makes sense. I have my villain ready, one conceptual that is manifested in 2 tangible beings. Cool. And the location, I guess my hiccup is the logistics of writing it. Okay, yeah. Once we get our layout stuff back from Stuart, you'll be able to see the progression. But you have to introduce all the elements up front, like what the location is, who the villains are, what the plot is, what's going wrong. Like, we have all those things threaded inside of ours. Then we have 6 hooks. So like, here's the location, here's your villain, here's what they're trying to achieve. Here's where it's going wrong. Like, when we entered it, by the time you get to Act 3, it's off the rails and it's going wrong. So when you pick up on the adventure from, like, when you finally find the BBEGs, like, shit, they're having a bad day and you're about to make it worse, which is fun, which is a lot of fun. It's like, oh, like, if your characters realize that shit's off kilter, they're like, oh man, what can we do to mess with this? It gets cool. Or they can, like, start heckling them or whatever because they're trapped, you know, whatever the situation is. But know what they're trying to do, where the things can go wrong, and then you as a DM, at any point when the characters finally engage the villain at the location where it's significant, you can decide if they're off rails or not, or if everything is going exactly the way they want to, or like what their mood is, what their scenario is, what are they trying to deal with, and who they have available to them, who who are their allies that are around them to assist them in the effort if things are going wrong, or what can they do to keep you at bay while they're trying to finish this ritual or whatever, right? So once you got a good idea of what are they trying to do, think of what can go wrong with it, and then just start laying out the generals of it. In this one, it requires human sacrifices, and the ritual that's involved with it. One of the guys, he's like, it'll be fine. I can do this. It's fine. The other two are like, we don't think you can do it. And by the time he's halfway through the ritual, it's like, it's not going like you said it's gonna do. It's gonna blow up on you. And now they're actively trying to sabotage him. So it's getting worse. And he can't stop. He's trapped. But his so-called friends are basically just killing him and taking his loot. And that's what your characters are walking. That's what the characters are walking in on. It's like, oh, these guys are having a really bad day with each other. What can we do to exploit that? That's kind of like how the adventure turns by the time you get into the belly of all of this, which is like I don't know about you, but that is like my players' plots go wrong all the time. Like they don't know what the DM knows, so obviously they think their plan makes sense, but they don't. The biggest problem players has is empathy, like putting themselves in the shoes of the things that they're trying to ambush or outsmart or whatever their shenanigan is. New players in particular have a real difficult time with empathy. It's like, oh, if I do this, how are they likely to respond? Like their chess moves are like 1 or 2 moves in advance. Like that's it. So I find in my adventures, when the characters catch the villain and the villain's got things going wrong and they can recognize it, they feel smart. Because like, oh yeah, our shit goes wrong all the time. His shit's going wrong too. How can we exploit that right now? Like that's one of those things that like the players feel smart because they recognize that there's an opportunity here for them to exploit, because they're always feeling exploited when their shit goes wrong. It's like, oh my god, this is so much worse than we expected. Like our rogue, last session, our rogue legitimately bum rushed Beholder. Like bum rushed him with a dagger. Like I'm gonna stab him in the eye. It's like he got killed so bad. but you know, he didn't think it through. It's so awesome. Just eviscerated, complete, just disemboweled, just splatter all over the floor. Uber dead. It was brilliant. It was so fun. That was so fun. But that's players for you. They don't really think things through, but they know they don't. And sometimes that's half the fun of that team, is that it's just the plots are the worst, but they're gonna try to jam them through anyway to see if they can make them work. Like that's when shenanigans is your actual pillar. Like the fourth pillar plays shenanigans, and when your team is like, that's like we're 90% shenanigans, 10% whatever. Like that's just a let's get high and just get stupid. It's fun. Anyway, I know we were talking. Oh yeah. We were talking about So if you build flaws into your villain's plans, it's at any time you can start having, like, if the character's having an easy time, then keep them on point and give them reinforcements. If the players are having a hard time, have shit go haywire, like stuff's going sideways on the villain, so they can't come at you as hard as they might have been able to otherwise. It's like you're intentionally lowering their CR by worsening their opportunity. So I don't know if any of that makes sense. This is just I just integrate a lot of this just intuitively into a story as I'm improvising stuff, because about maybe 80% of a session is improvised from me, and my prep work is just getting a better understanding of where they're going, who's there, what's their plot motives, what's their break point, where's their limits at, what's their backup plan, And like once I can bullet point list all that stuff out, I can improvise it. But when it's a published adventure, you kind of just have to lock all those down and have 2 or 3 moves in advance so that the DM can be aware of what's going on inside the environment. So when the characters suddenly pivot on him, you aren't thrown off. You're off track, but you have more than one track. So you're just jumping track to another channel, if that makes sense. And then you lay it out normally laying out in, if it is location based, then the procedure through the product is once you introduce the points, all the elements of the adventure, and the reader has a general good grounding of what's going on, who's involved, what's the goal of this, how do the players feed into this. And you just take it from the logical starting point. This is when the characters are going to get introduced to this. Let's start here. And each event is like its own scene. Where's this scene lead to? It could lead to 1, 2, maybe even 3 different scenes from here, with the most obvious pathing that you can introduce as a DM. It's like these are the most obvious pathways they're going to follow as a result of the information that they got. But at the same time, you know what the background, what the goal is going on. So if they catch you by surprise and take you down a path you didn't expect to go, you have enough background information about what's going on so you can improvise what those decisions are. Like, how would they respond if you think of this crazy thing that happened? Well, here's the protocols involved with that, and X, Y, and Z. So anyway. One player did very similar, emotionally charged into the mouth of a dragon and forgot about action economy. 3 auto hit bite later, and they were almost down. It's God bless players. They're doing the best they can with what little information they have. And I do a lot of theater of the mind, so it's even more ambiguous. Like it's taken them a few years, but they're starting to realize that they can like ask about what different things might be in the environment that they can, is there a table here? What kind of books are here? And like just very first edition, like getting into the grit of where are we at and what is this place for and what's available for here right now that I can take advantage of for us to get through this challenge. So, but I mean that's fairly advanced player stuff. Like that's not, I'm just showing up because I like my friends and this is what we're doing, and I'm going to get drunk along the way and it's going to be fun. Like once they start like giving a crap about the storyline, like they get invested. Like once they get invested, oh my god, it's just no limits. It's like whatever you want to do, you can do at that point because they want in. They just want to be a part of it. That's just awesome. So yeah, just build an interesting character, build an interesting villain in an interesting environment, doing interesting stuff that has some fiddly bits that the characters can screw around with a little bit, so they have an opportunity to feel smart about stuff. But don't make it too difficult. Make it obvious. So all they gotta do is like there's these like escape room box adventures. Like one of them is like you're stranded on an island, and like you have to build a boat to get off the island, and the process of doing that is like actually cutting the box that the game came in apart and building it into a boat. And once it's a boat, you've unlocked the next chapter of you trying to actually escape the tide to get off of the island. Like it's super easy stuff, but people work on things at different levels. So something that might be really obvious to you could be really difficult to them. So just having like 1 or 2 easy steps to get through it is enough for them to go, oh yeah, that was smart. Why are these things so easy? Which was that conversation that we were having on Indestructible's channel recently about, or was that Zipperon's channel? I can't recall. It was about, what's the purpose of like what's up with puzzles? Why the puzzles and difference between puzzles and traps, and why do these things exist at all in the first place? And it's like they're gatekeeping. They're designed to keep people out. Puzzles keep people out if they're ignorant of what's going on, but if they understand what's going on, they should know automatically it's just a combination lock at that point. Like the puzzle's a combination lock that the villains and everyone that's important to them know the combination, but you don't. So all you got to do is figure out the combination is either by beating it out of somebody or noodling around with it and figuring, and finding the combination or whatever the trick of the whatever the trick of the puzzle is. It's designed to be solved, which is like, why do people build these puzzles? It's because they were designed to be solved. And there's a couple different reasons why a puzzle might be solved. So that's, that's a conversation that's a conversation worth having. If it wasn't on just if you didn't see it already, but that actually sounds like a fun thing to actually have a tear out conversation about at some point. So I'm going to sideline that here, so I don't get too far off my own track. But sorry, I'm limiting the conversation on purpose. Oh man, I kind of like that. I'm gonna. Oops, wrong one. Yankees. Do that. Let's get an eraser here, and let's just thin this down a little bit. Man, I'm pretty happy with that. It is. Oh, it's 9:40. Okay. Hey, I'm past time, so I'm just gonna do more of this over here. So you're not gonna really miss out on anything there. You already saw that highlighting process, which is what I'm gonna do over here. It looks like it. It looks like it's successful. So let's push up that contrast a little bit. See if I can. Yeah, it doesn't have to be strong. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So cool, we got that going on there. I'm going to finish up the same process over here. And then I'm going to do a little bit more texturing so it like curves like this. So it integrates this jaw line. I'm going to fix his teeth. The grittiest of nitty, my friends. It is the grittiest of nitties. But yeah, that's my session for today. So every Monday night we do Eberron artwork and maps. As this project advances, we'll probably be doing more stream more often with the crystals. I've also got the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book, which needs similar treatments. So I'm juggling my time between the two of them, which is great. So I don't end up burning out on any particular content at any time, because I could just completely kill it. So I'll be doing both of those at the same time. And then we still have Martial Power Mondays, the lunch streams that we do. Those I anticipate continuing until the end of the year. That at that point the book should be finished and passed off to editor. And then I'll get that back. So I would anticipate late January that'll go into is going to go into layouts. This book here, Stuart, is about maybe 15% of the way through the edits, and he's doing a fucking fantastic job. So it is, boy, he is just the clarity. God bless you, Stuart, man, the clarity. Like Andy and I came with some freaking cool ideas, but Stuart really put some decent clarity into it to make sure that it reads proper, that people get what's going on. It's a fun read. I like reading it. I wrote it, but I like reading it because how Stuart's translated it. It's freaking cool. I'm really excited. So, thank you. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm going to take off. Folks, like, subscribe. Burn through the hours because I need 4,000 of them, and I'm like at 700 right now. So it's going to take me a while. I need more subscribers than anything. But long form design like this isn't popular. So it's just going to be a slow grind until I find my tribe. But so thanks for showing up and checking it out. I really appreciate any time that anyone invests in this stuff, honestly, with me. Thank you. But I'm just going to keep doing it. Ultimately, it's going to end up being like a proof of concept. Like when I do Kickstarters, like, is Phil solid on building Kickstarters? It's like, yeah, he built this whole thing for free, hoping that somebody would buy it. If you like his work, then buy his stuff. And, the Kickstarter will be successful that way. So that's what we're going to do. Anyway, I'm rambling. I love you guys. I will see everybody on the other side. I'm going to keep working, but that's my time. I can only do it so much. So I'm outie. See you later.